You should do vlogs for the show.
Absolutely not.
You should be vlogging.
There's nothing that I will do less than that.
Just you playing slots. That's what I want to watch. Kyle's slot videos.
The people say I'm very charismatic, so it would be a perfect use of my talent. Howdy, it's Monday, May 13th, 2024. This is episode 228 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined as always by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
Trip reports.
Trip reports.
The people love them.
After all of the other content we have to get through, right?
Yeah, and I think you have a big Horseshoe Baltimore trip report that we need to get through.
I do have a Horseshoe Baltimore trip report. Because, you know, I'm the one that really does everything for this podcast. Goes to the Horseshoe every 2 weeks. And how many times have you been to Resorts World, Queens, or whatever?
0. In my life,
right.
I've never been.
You wrote an article about it long before the podcast on our website, but you have not been.
No, I'm never going to go. It's such a pain. I might as well just go to Atlantic City. It's so far out there.
You should go to Sands. Go to Bethlehem.
I should go to Bethlehem. That would be easier.
Mm-hmm. Especially now that you have a car.
It is one thing about the New York casinos that, like, of the licenses, it seems like some of them are going to go to Resorts World Queens and Empire City in Yonkers and stuff. And it's like, those things already exist. So, like, are they going to take that much more people away from AC?
Yep.
But I think there will be one in Manhattan somewhere.
Yeah. The rumor has always been Times Square, Caesar's property.
Yeah.
But I will answer what's good, and that is that at the Horseshoe, my trip report is that it's still a bad place, but it's not quite as bad when you, on your very first hand of 4-card poker, get dealt a straight flush. So,
what's the payout on a straight flush, like the multiplier?
For aces up, I bet 5 because it was a $5 table, and I got over 200. So
oh, nice. Nice win.
40x more, 50x maybe, something like that.
These are the kinds of wins that you can get when you play table games.
Yep.
Something I would not know about, as we will discuss.
In the Always Once Never?
In the Always Once Never. Let's hear it.
And our trip report. All right. So, as promised last episode, our Always Once Never are some of Kyle's favorite things that Craig does not love. So my problem is I really came up with quite a lot of them. So I had to pick the top 3. But I have some honorable mentions we can get to first, which are my most beloved $2.96 Jackson Ritter machine at Caesars. Probably the machine I have played certainly the most coin in on in the world. And probably the most time as well. But I didn't think that was a very interesting one because the reason you don't play it is just because it's too expensive. Not into the $10 a spin, Jackson Ritter.
I mean, maybe once, because maybe I'd put $100 into it, but I doubt it.
Yeah. No. So I figured that wasn't going to be an interesting one, so that's only in the honorable mention. Another honorable mention was doing a solo trip to AC. Something I did, I think, last year, if not at the end of 2022. I thought that wasn't a good one because you would claim that you would love to do it. But yes. I'm also positive that it will absolutely not happen anytime in the next 5 years. So I figured we'd just talk in circles and it wouldn't be very interesting.
Yes, that's true.
And my final honorable mention is going to Atlantic City and just not logging anything. You don't need to log your calories. You don't need to log your wins and losses at the casino. Just go there, be fun.
I certainly used to not log my calories. Like, vacation time was my time.
Yep, which is how I feel.
But now I'm being ridiculously strict about everything. I have to know my losses.
You don't have to.
I don't know. I guess I just bring money, like, as long as I'm not going to
right.
the ATM. Like, it doesn't really matter, right? That's a good point.
You don't have to. There's no law that you have to know exactly what you want to lose. So you know, I started on Saturday of this trip, logging in some Google spreadsheet I made. So we will see if I keep it up or not.
How did you feel about logging on the Google spreadsheet?
I think it's useful because I look back at it and I have a better idea of what I did because I just don't remember anything that I do, apparently, because maybe I've reached that time in my life. But it's fine. It's not that disruptive, honestly.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me now is, like, even beyond knowing the wins and losses, because I can just sort of, like, know what I brought in my wallet, right. And then all you really need to mark down is any cash that you spend that's not on gambling.
So those were not the Kyle's favorite things that Craig doesn't love, but I think they could have been. So the first one you suggested in the Tropicana, the beautiful Tropicana, when me and Paul were playing at an empty craps table, that you said an empty craps table had to be one of them.
Yes.
It is.
You do love an empty craps table.
I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things. Another one, which is kind of piggybacking off of it, another table games related one, a completely full, except for one seat, Pie Guile Tiles table. You know, some old dudes just yelling at each other in Cantonese or whatever. Something that you, I think, avoid like the plague, but also one of my favorite things.
Yeah, this is interesting. I have thoughts. Okay, keep going.
And then the final thing, and this is going to be probably like the solo trip to AC one that we're going to talk in circles about a little bit, but being down on a nice empty casino floor at 7 a.m, just, having your run of cheap table games, empty slot banks, which is something that I do most every trip and absolutely love, instead of trying to, fight through the crowds at midnight on whatever, the night before.
So for the last one, it's just like gambling in the morning in the empty casino.
Yeah.
Basically, early AM gambling.
Get up, go down to the casino, do some gambling.
So the table games ones are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Solo at a craps table,
I love it.
I'd be fine with it at $5,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not a realistic thing.
Would you? I can't imagine you actually making a choice to go up to an empty craps table, even at $5.
I did it at Circus Circus.
Huh?
In the morning, no less, in an empty Circus Circus. Which is truly the greatest place in the country, probably, to play craps.
After the man very angrily yelled at you about you not giving him your coffee.
Oh, that was before. No, that was before.
Oh, I was
before
you
drinking
had
my
the coffee.
It was coffee dice. It was true Travelzork style coffee dice. Yeah, I don't want an empty table at craps at all.
Right.
Pygo Poker, I do want an empty table.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be just me and you, or just me, you, and the group.
Right.
I mean, one other person, whatever, 2 other people is fine. Sometimes the commentary is very funny from other people who are very interested in us
the white person playing Pygo tiles.
So that can be fun. But I certainly would not roll up to a full except for one seat.
Never sit down at a otherwise full table and play. No, I can't ever imagine it happening.
So this is tough. The morning gambling, like I love being up early and on the casino floor when it's empty and just sort of like the atmosphere. But I have a very hard time convincing myself to actually wake up when I'm away from the kids. And it's like, okay, I was up until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. gambling. I could wake up at 7:30 and go downstairs, or I could try to sleep for another hour. And this last trip, I didn't even like try to sleep for another hour. I just did. Like I just slept straight through until 9 a.m. one morning.
Yeah, there was discussion about me and Paul during that, what we were going to do.
I'm trying to decide if I would get like more value out of going to bed early. Do I always want to have to get up at 7 a.m. and go downstairs and gamble?
You always want to go to bed at midnight?
I don't think so.
I agree that
makes the other two tough, right?
You wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly do it once.
I think to make it fair, we can say that the craps is $5 and let's say tiles is $10 in some alternate universe. So, make them reasonably priced.
Yeah, even $20 tiles, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
So the tiles table, though, it's just me.
No, the tiles table is full.
Yeah, but full and just me. Like you are.
Yes,
it's not
I'm
two
not
seats.
there. I'm not there.
No,
it is
that's never.
Like 5 Chinese guys and you.
No, sorry. The tiles table and all the Chinese guys are going into the ocean, unfortunately.
I figured that absolutely has to be the never. Yeah.
No, I have no interest in playing tiles without a friend. I mean, you did mention 5 of my closest Chinese friends, but...
Right.
Oh, craps. I mean, if it's $5 craps, I think I would say always, and I would just really low roll.
Yeah. I mean, you can always just go set 1 point or whatever.
Yeah, and then the wake up early in the morning once. Like, well, here's the thing, though. Is it once every trip being the always, right? Not every single day that I'm in Atlantic City?
I think that's fair. I think it's once every trip.
I think I would change that. I think I would do the once a trip early wake up to always, because I think I would actually enjoy that. And then...
You say that, but you never do it.
I know.
You've said like 5 trips in a row, like you're going to do it, and it has happened 0 times.
Correct. So yeah, I'm going to say always for that, even though I'm a liar. And then I'm going to say once more for craps, and it can even be $15 craps, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then never for the Pyga.
Yeah. That's reasonable.
It's reasonable, except I am a liar. Like I am lying about
right. You will
waking up early.
never actually be on a casino floor before 8 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds incredible in theory, but it's just in practice, I'm not going to do it.
All right. Well, those were some of Kyle's favorite things that Craig doesn't love.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it in the trip report, because I think a lot of this relates to the trip report.
I mean, I did several of these things during the trip. So actually all 3.
One of the big things about going to bed early is I feel like when I'm gambling late at night, I'm just sort of like gambling for the sake of gambling, or I'm like chasing losses.
Yeah, you can't wake up early to avoid that.
Well, I mean, you're just more clear-headed in the morning. Or the other thing is like you're ordering a whiskey to the machine and then you're feeling crappier the next day. Like you're just making a lot of bad decisions at 1:30 in the morning that if you went to bed at midnight, you'd probably feel better the next day in lots of ways. Like you'd feel better about your gambling budget. You'd feel better about your hungover levels.
Yeah, although I did not on Saturday, so
that's the always once never.
So let's blow through some news real quick before we get to our trip report. We'll do this at warp speed.
Okay.
So do you want to go with the first one?
Yeah, I have a correction from last episode. The first thing is that I said that the last steak I had was at Nero's at Caesar's, but that's not true. The last steak I had was at Guy's Chop House, which was on my 35th birthday. Nero's was earlier that year, January 2018, for my anniversary. And then I also looked it up. The steakhouse at Bally's, before it was called Guy's Chop House, was called The Reserve. So that is when we went up the escalator and looked at it before going right to the Six of Bistro. It was The Reserve. I remember thinking the bar looked very nice there.
I do appreciate that you edited out me sounding like an idiot talking about the steakhouse up there last episode. So
being like off to the left of the escalator. Yeah, no, straight up the escalator.
All right. So the adults only section of Island Water Park, who sends me just a never ending stream of emails, now open to everyone. Still an extra $20 to get in there. But you write that it is the only normal pool in the park. So for kids who like swimming in a normal pool and don't necessarily want to just ride the lazy river or go down the slides, it adds that option.
Yeah.
Any further thoughts?
I don't love that it's an extra $20. So it is no longer an adults only section. Obviously, I can't imagine it was a moneymaker, and that's obviously why this decision was made, right? Like everything's down to the bottom line. But I guess the thing that was enticing about it was not people like adults coming only to go to the adults only pool. It was probably like parents with teenagers who could let the teenagers go do the slides and stuff, and they could chill at the adults only section. But yeah, I did mention after I went on the episode that I thought they should just open up that area and allow kids to use the normal pool. I was not thinking it would be an extra $20 to do that.
That is weird that it's $20 to get in the regular pool, but like that's the add-on.
It also has swim up bars.
Yeah.
It's tough because it's like, now would I go and add that on? Like,
I have to say, if you've been recently, you should write us and let us know how crowded it was, because I haven't heard much about it.
I have watched a couple fairly recent YouTube videos, and it has not looked like packed, but it also has not looked empty.
Oh, that's good.
That's I feel like it's a good sign.
All right. And now, finally, there's 3 new experiences coming to Hard Rock Memorial Day weekend. I assume, Craig, that these are just experiences for that weekend only, or are these like something that are going to run through the summer?
No, these are all summer, I think.
Oh, all summer.
Yeah.
All right. So these experiences, which you can hopefully tell us more about, are the Balcony, the Terrace, and Hard Rock Beach. So what are these?
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the beach erosion in front of Hard Rock and how basically it like falls off a cliff and there's no real beach there to speak of. So it seems like they're going to use what limited beach they have and rent out beach chairs. They say weather and tide permitting. And you'll be able to reserve them ahead of time. A lounge chair is $20. An umbrella is $20. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. So I guess it's their way of utilizing what little beach space they have. It says attentive drink service and access to private restrooms.
How about the Balcony and the Terrace?
The Terrace is a restaurant, basically, that's out on the terrace overlooking the Steel Pier. Delight in a culinary experience that combines relaxed elegance with the invigorating ambiance of seaside dining. Reservations and menu coming soon. So there's food service 4 to 10 p.m. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday for lunch 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. or I guess lunch and early dinner. And then they also have a bar that is open until midnight on Fridays and Saturdays, but otherwise the same hours. So then there's also something called the Balcony, but it doesn't say where the balcony is. And I can't tell if it's actually just that the terrace becomes the balcony at night or not. It seems like no, because the hours are Fridays and Saturdays only from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. It says that the terrace bar is open till midnight on Fridays and Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say where this is. It says the most casino press release speak ever. An immersive, intimate lounge experience awaits you. Indulge in bespoke cocktails. Does that mean that there's not a menu? Like you gotta just ask for what you want?
Know that there are places that do that.
Using only the finest spirits, enhancing your experience, and keeping you captivated all night long. So yeah, basically sort of a loungy sort of thing. There's going to be VIP reservations with bottle service and a private area. I mean, it could be where the old Casbah like lounge area is.
Yeah, has
right
that been
at that
made
entrance.
into anything like out there just a bit past? Well, I mean, it's connected to Hard Rock, but has that been empty since they reopened the casino?
I think they had it open on nights that there were events, but otherwise, no. I think that has been sort of dead space. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but I wouldn't call that a balcony.
Did they make scores into anything?
Well, Scores was what's going to be the terrace, right?
Okay. So the terrace is Scores, and the balcony maybe or maybe not the Casbah.
But it doesn't say. It doesn't say the location. And I looked in the press release, and I looked in the Press of Atlantic City article, and none of them said.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll find out in a couple weeks when people start going for Memorial Day, I guess.
That's true.
So we went to Atlantic City.
We did. Was it fun?
It was a lot of fun. It was a good trip. Yeah, so we checked in, both of us, separately to the water club where we were the first night. For me, I have to say the check-in experience was amazing. I think I was literally the only person in the lobby of the water club. It's always nice, better than the Caesars check-in experience, which we'll get to.
I had to wait for one person to check in. It was very frustrating.
Unbelievable.
That was fine.
So shortly after we got there, we met up in the B-Bar for our meetup, I guess, which is what you meet up for. So we met with a couple of listeners.
Jim H., who
wrote us the email about Angeline, right?
Yes. And then Randy, who was
definitely not a serial killer, as he said.
Who very helpfully noted in his email asking about meeting up that he was not a serial killer.
And it was true.
Yeah, it did not kill us.
To our knowledge. I can't guarantee that that's actually true, but we're still alive, so.
But 2 people is 100% more people than I was expecting. Good time meeting with listeners, just sitting at the B-Bar and talking. I felt like it was a good way to start the trip, get a couple beers, talk about Atlantic City.
Yeah, we both had a couple beers there. My first beer was pretty expensive, considering that I lost all my money quite quickly at the B-Bar, because I got there a bit before you, so I was actually at the bar, but we ended up being slightly off the bar in like the lounge area around it.
Yeah. I didn't end up playing at B-Bar at all this trip. That's crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's still a great place to play, I have to say.
If you had asked me before the trip what the odds are that I would not play any at B-Bar on a night when I stayed at Borgata.
10 North Lounge?
No.
Or did you avoid video poker bars entirely?
No. Well, you know why we didn't play at B-Bar? Because we played at the Sportsbook.
Oh, yeah.
Which also had 8-5 quarter video poker, and so we were watching baseball and playing. So we can get to that.
I played at 9-5 for $1.
Fancy.
As one does. What bad?
So after the meetup, we went to Doc's, where we had reservations and used our gift card from Pat G. Once again, very much appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much, Pat G.
Got some oysters, both dressed and raw.
Yep, raw were better.
Agreed, yes, raw was definitely better. Got various meals.
Craig's meal was just a bowl of crab meat.
It was just a bowl of crab meat with like butter and garlic.
I got some sort of red snapper jambalaya, which was very good.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten something else, I have to say. It was good for what it was, but it was very basic. And looking at yours and Paul's, I was like...
Paul got some sort of salmon risotto, I think.
And I was looking at both of those, like, those look like proper meals. So that looks really good.
It was a big bowl of crab meat.
It was a ton of crab. It was probably like 10 ounces of crab meat.
Yeah, it was a bowl of like jumbo lump crab meat.
Yeah, so amazing. If you want a ton of crab in a buttery sauce, which, sounds very good.
I mean, it was good. I really enjoyed the one bite I had of it. I wouldn't want to eat a whole bowl of it, though.
Right, yeah, I think that's the big thing. It was just like a lot of the same flavor as a meal. But still, Doc's great experience, good cocktails.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, no.
Nice to go since the renovation, so still highly, highly recommend it.
Yep.
There are about a dozen things on the menu that I'm sure I would have loved, so I'd like to go back and get more stuff.
Yep. The valet was no problem at all. It's easy to get to. Definitely highly recommend the Doc's. So after Doc's, we swung by the McDonald's and got some McFlurries.
Have to do it.
Actually, we got McFlurries. Paul got a hot fudge sundae.
He did.
Foolish.
You disapproved.
I mean, it's just worse than McFlurries, right?
I got Oreo, which you also,
M&M is where it's at. I don't know.
And then I tried to take a picture of it for the Twitter, and my McFlurry, you made a turn, and my McFlurry flipped over and landed upside down in your car. I don't know how none of it came out, but yeah.
It's like the Blizzard check,
it is.
But more extreme.
I guess that hammers home where I was at on the cocktail thing.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
And then we ate our McFlurries in the lobby of the MGM Tower, which is a very nice place to lounge around.
It was great. And then, as was mentioned, you and Paul, I think, went to the video poker bar at the Sportsbook.
We did,
I don't know if you did some stuff before that. I think I basically played tiles the entire night by myself.
$20 tiles?
40, I think, at night. It was 20 the next day when I played a bunch. Yeah, 40 is fine for me. I know at some point, after I'd had some beers, you came over, and, I was having my rusty nail there, and I'm like, what should I get? And you're like, get a Negroni, so I got that. Anyway, it was bad. It was bad. The waitresses were around every 5 minutes, so there was some problems, which we'll get to the next day or whatever, but It was a fun time. I did not do well at the tiles, unfortunately, but that's how it goes sometimes. Beyond that, I think when I was done, it was like midnight or something when I met you guys at the sports book bar. Maybe it had to be closer to 11, I think. And I just chatted with you for a while, and then I went upstairs and ended up going to bed. So I don't know if you did anything after that.
Sure did. One thing I have to mention, my first stop after checking in was Sixes or Better.
I did that the next day. So
I totally broke even, played 2 sessions of Sixes or Better, lost 20 the first time, won 20 the second time.
I can tell you exactly how I did, because since I did it Saturday and not Friday, I have a record. Up $20 in it. Put in 20, got 40 out.
Yeah, it's the best game ever. I love Sixes or
Surely.
Better. The Sportsbook Video Poker Bar, I was surprised that the pay tables were decent, video poker pay tables. And it's just a really nice place to sit, have some comped beers. We watched the Orioles game, looking around at all the other hockey and basketball and baseball games on. My brother made the point that it would be an awesome place to go during the playoffs, baseball playoffs, with just multiple baseball games on. So go ahead and book, first or second weekend in October. Kyle, mark those off on your calendar to stay at Borgata so we can play at the Sportsbook VP Bar. It's a very different experience than B-Bar.
I would mark it off on my calendar if you wanted.
I mean, I think it would be really fun. Like, go for a night, sit at the Sportsbook VP Bar.
If you remember, it wasn't in the sportsbook itself. It was in the adjoining lounge or whatever to the sportsbook, but I played blackjack to watch the Ravens game when we were there last year.
Yeah, so it was my first experience at the sportsbook, and I thought it was really nice. Paul got a giant thing of fries, and I just sat there eating a ton of fries and playing video poker and drinking various beers and watching sports. What more can you ask for?
Better than what I was drinking.
Better than your Negroni?
Yeah, Negroni and Rusty Nail.
I did not get a Rusty Nail this trip. I feel like that was a good decision.
It probably was.
So yeah, we probably left the sportsbook, I don't know, I guess it must have been after 11, and then...
It was after 11, I think, yeah.
And then I just went on a slots rampage.
Mm-hmm.
Played some Heidi, played some Buffalo. Actually did okay at those. And then I went to a new Wonder Woman machine. And that was a mistake. The newer Bullets and Bracelets machines, or Lasso of Truth, I think is the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You've played them, right? Where it's like, has all the hidden symbols on
awful.
every single spin, and then they open up and you get nothing.
Right.
It's like, whole screen of symbols. Like, oh, no, there's a blocker there. You actually get zero.
Whole screen
zero
except
cents.
for the second column. That's going to be something different than the rest of the screen.
So, yeah, it was just really terrible. That went really bad. Wonder Woman was very mean to me this trip. So I ended up going to bed at like 2 a.m, which that was probably the one gambling session where I was like, I should be going to bed. What am I doing?
Uh-huh.
I ended up ordering a whiskey to the machine after like consciously switching to light beer earlier on. And I was like, it's 1:30. I might as well have.
See, that's smart. So I started at the pie gow table. I had 2 or 3 Miller Lights, and then I switched to the Rusty Nail and the Negroni. I went the other way. It was not the way to go.
Along with, like, I'm going to go to bed early and I'm going to wake up early. Or go to bed at a reasonable time and wake. Even when I went to bed at 2, I was like, I'm just going to wake up at 7:30, whatever, 5.5 hours of sleep, and I'm going to go down and, hang out on the casino floor, and just slept right through. I'm not going to set an alarm. I mean, are you crazy? So then you woke up well before us, surely. So that was my night.
I didn't wake up super early. It was probably around 7 or whatever, and I think I texted you shortly after that and went down at like 7:30 maybe, or maybe not quite as early as usual, but yeah, by the time it was like 8:30 or so, I was like feeling pretty bad. So I was like, okay, I have to eat right now, and I hadn't heard back from you yet. And you're like, oh, hold on, we're going to come down, and we might do something. I'm like, no, I have to eat now. I have to eat right now, or I'm not going to feel good for the rest of the day. So anyway, I ended up just going to the Casa Taco Express, which is somewhere I'd been, I think, 2 trips ago to Borg, down in the marketplace. Their breakfast is completely fine. I mean, it's like nothing special, but if you just need generic carbs and breakfast meat, that is what they'll provide to you. So,
I mean, that does seem like it's what you needed. So
yeah, I got blueberry waffles and, a side of sausage or whatever, and it was exactly what I needed, and just dumped it in syrup and went to town.
Paul and I went down. We sort of looked at bread and butter and didn't see anything that was calling to us. So we ended up at Borgata Baking Company.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a huge cheese Danish and a coffee. The cheese Danish was excellent. Highly, highly recommended.
You mentioned to me that it was really spectacular.
I've been craving it after that, which I'm sure, it's just sitting under that glass forever. It's not like it's some super rare thing, but
ultra rare.
It was good. It was very good. I love Danishes. I've talked about this on the show.
Mm-hmm. So after that, did you guys gamble at all? I don't think I actually saw you that morning until we got to Trop, right?
Oh yeah, did we not actually even see each other in Borgata? It's possible. I know that I ended up playing a little bit of Wonder Woman because I saw an old Wonder Woman machine. Even though Wonder Woman was so mean to me the night before, I saw the old Wonder Woman machine at Borgata, and I was like, well, I've got to play it.
So after I ate, I played some craps, and I think you walked by and we talked for
Yes,
maybe 2
okay.
minutes at Borg. But I think that's the only time we saw each other, and that is when I started my logging. So whatever crappy slots I was playing before that, I went to breakfast or not logged. So
Paul and I went up and got cleaned up and checked out at like 10:30.
yeah, so I didn't do any of that while you were doing that. I ate, and then I played a little bit of craps, which was pretty even, and then I went back and had another tile session, which was also very bad.
Oh, no.
This time at $20 a hand instead of $40. Still lost a couple $100. Then I did the aforementioned double down stud, where I was up $20, and then I had one of those very aggravating, which this game always is, Rich Little Piggy sessions, where I got to the machine, it had 21 free spins or whatever on the leftmost pig, which is what matters. And I was like, all right, I guess I should play this. And it was on the 60-cent spin one, also, it was the cheap one. So I'm like, this should be pretty painless. Yeah, I ended up triggering it after I'd put 120 in or something like that. It was up to 27 spins when it triggered, and it was all three that triggered at the same time. So I'm like, this should be absolutely monstrous. It was not. It was pretty disappointing. It was a little bit over $100, so it was not even back to even. So it was back to 185 when I had put in 200, and then I played a little bit more because I was an idiot. But Rich Little Pigs, bad game. Shouldn't play it.
I've banned myself from playing it because it's so frustrating.
It's so awful.
I think I sat at one that had 60 free games or some crazy amount, and
Surely that's not possible. I've never seen such a
No,
thing
I saw
ever.
60 this trip.
60?
Yeah.
60?
Yeah.
My goodness.
I think it was 30 at Resorts a couple times ago. And so I sat at that one, and then pumped in 20, lost it, another 20, had put in 80 and was down to $15 when I hit the bonus and got a $35 or $40 bonus. It's this game is horrible, and it's just really frustrating to be sitting there thinking well, I gotta keep playing.
Well,
I've banned
certainly
myself
if you
from, Rich Little Piggies.
only hit that bonus or whatever, that's a bad beat.
Right.
That's
I mean, you
unfortunate.
did get the all
I
three.
literally hit all three, and it still was $100. It was $105 or something, so I was not even back to even. So.
I mean, I'm looking at the picture you sent me. Not only was it 28 free games, but all the symbols that can be marked out.
Yeah,
were marked
the red
out.
one was crazy good too. And for the jackpot one, some of the jackpots were higher, but
Yeah.
it just didn't matter.
Disappointing. So while you were playing that, Paul and I went,
Being very frustrated.
Yeah.
Not having fun.
checked out of the Borgata, and we actually drove to Ventnor Coffee in Ventnor.
Mm-hmm.
Which was very nice. Ventnor Coffee, very hipstery coffee shop, just a cool, beach town hipster coffee shop. Paul got a cortado, which he said was, not amazing. I got a banana bread latte
Sounds terrible.
because I like super sweet.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what the doctor ordered. Just sat there for a long time. I think we were there for over an hour, or it was basically exactly an hour because I think we put an hour on our parking meters and got a notification you gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
So really nice to get out of the city in the morning, get out of Atlantic City in the morning, get into Ventnor, which is crazy how you just cross over into Ventnor and it's oh, this is a beach town. This feels not a city, not casino town, but a beach town. And I really liked just sitting around at the coffee shop. It's funny because I caught myself sort of in Kyle mode after 15 minutes where I was I can take this coffee to go. Let's go. We can be doing other things. And it's no, relax, breathe.
Oh, man.
You can sit someplace. It's fine. So
Only allowed to sit at the tables.
I know. So I actually did a lot of sitting around this trip
Uh-huh.
that I enjoyed, just sort of chilling and relaxing, no kids, quiet. So that was the first of those sitting around, sort of not gambling, not rushing to the next thing.
So anyway, after, I was just made furious by Rich Little Piggies, as happens, we met up at Tony's to grab some lunch, right?
Yeah. So I think we parked at Tropicana. You parked at the garage.
Loyus Arts Garage.
And went to Tony's Baltimore Grill, ordered, we were only going to get one pizza. And I was we need a second pizza,
Mm-hmm.
which
Got
we
two pizzas.
maybe didn't need a second pizza, but we did eat 100% of the pizza, the two pizzas. And I was very full.
I was so full. I basically ate a whole pizza there. So I think I had 7 slices, we decided. So
Right. We got a margarita and the Tony's special, which I think is sausage and mushroom.
the Tony special was very good.
I agree. Very, very good. I would skip the margarita. I think
It was fine, yeah.
I would rather have just plain than margarita. I think that style of pizza doesn't lend itself to margarita.
Yeah, I usually like margarita a lot, but it wasn't anything special. It was totally fine, but the Tony special I thought was very good.
Still love Tony's. It was great.
Yeah, their crust is good.
Had a Miller High Life, which, champagne and beers goes very well with Tony's.
Yep. After that, me and Paul both played craps together while you saw us playing at an empty table and moved right along with your life. But that turned out to be, I think, a very good session for both of us. At least for me, it was pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, because we had done the like pre-check-in thing, and it was like you can't check in until
right
4.
So we just gambled for like an hour between lunch and checking in.
I didn't do pre-check-in. Actually, went to the desk at the Havana Tower because we both had Havana Tower rooms booked. I don't know, it was probably like 1. And the woman was like, well, it's a $30 fee to check in early.
Yep.
Or at 3 o'clock, the fee goes away. I was like, well, I can wait an hour and a half. That's fine. So we did wait.
I checked in first, and I got my Havana room as expected. It was actually a very nice room. It was at the very end of the hall, facing out north or west or whatever direction is away from the ocean, northwest.
So then I went to the kiosk and did the check-in, and it went very smoothly until it printed out, and it was like, you're in the West Tower. And I was like, do I just take this and not deal with this long line at the Havana check-in to try to
not be in the West Tower?
Not be in the West Tower and like most likely just be told them's the breaks?
You should have probably taken it down to the main desk.
I think
area,
you're right.
Because I think there was only one person working at the Havana check-in desk.
There was, but strategically she seemed to be very nice and helpful.
Okay.
I was seeing with other people who had issues. So I was like, okay, this person seems like they're not just going to tell me to GFY. So I waited in that line, I don't know, probably like half an hour, right?
I think it was at least that long.
So I finally got to the front, and I was like, I'm going to try to not put on an air of just being like totally frustrated because I was like so disappointed when I got West. And I was like, I booked in Havana, I went to the kiosk and got West Tower, and honestly, like I would be happy with anything except West or Chelsea. Like that's all I want. Is there anything that can be done to get me out of West Tower? And she looked and she was like, well, the only thing in Havana is a suite, and that's like a huge upcharge. I forget what she said, but it was a lot. And she's looking and looking and looking, and she's like, well, the only thing with 2 beds that I have is a low floor in the South Tower, and it would be an upgrade charge of $26. After taxes and fees, like, yeah, $26. So I was like, okay, that's worth it. So it's mildly annoying that they couldn't just give that to me for free, but whatever, $26 is $26. Went for that. I thought the South Tower renovated room was very nice. They could clean the windows. That would be a big difference. But otherwise, like the room itself was nice. The curtains made it very, very dark, and I slept straight through until 9 in the morning. I think Paul was like, let's go. What's going on with you?
No, Paul was ready to get on with his day and get out of Atlantic City, I think.
Yeah. So I do wish I had woken up a little earlier, but I did get good sleep.
Yeah, glad it got kind of squared away, sort of. That is the thing to keep in mind, though. Nothing is guaranteed. If you book something on a comp, like they will put you wherever they want. And
yeah, and she did say, like, the room types are not guaranteed on the comp rooms. I was like, yeah, I know. Like,
and we found out when I was talking to you, you said you have never stayed in the West Tower before, and I could not believe it. I suspect that is the room I've stayed in the most in Atlantic City. Maybe Centurion Tower, maybe, but it's Centurion or West.
I did feel better about paying to get out of West when we were waiting at Gilchrist the next day, and there was a woman talking about how they were in West Tower and it was so loud, and she's not happy about it.
Yeah, no. She had a bad time. She said she got locked in the bathroom or whatever. So
sounds great. Oh, so the other issue. So we had on Saturday at Tropicana a Woodford Reserve giveaway. And so I swiped at a promotional kiosk, and it was like, okay, you've earned the tier credits necessary to get this giveaway, which is 5 tier credits. Like, print out your voucher now. And it was just like processing, and then made a sound like it was printing, but then nothing came out. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, these kiosks are killing me the last couple trips, because if you remember, I was having all sorts of issues at Borgata.
Yep.
And so then I had to like go to the desk, and it took them a while to like print the new coupon out. So then when the check-in issue happened, I was like, man, this is 2 trips in a row where it's just like, is my casino life just destined to be trying to sort out technical glitches from these stupid machines? And even in Vegas, I had an issue with a My Vegas redemption where I had to like argue with the lady at the counter for a while about a pretty big free play that I had booked. And she was like, no, you're not eligible for that, blah, blah, blah. You need to be staying paid nights in Aria Verdara to be able to book this. And I was like, for one thing, no, you don't. It specifically says like no room stay required. And she's like, no, I do this all the time, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and I'm staying in Vidara. Paid. Like, not comped room nights in Vidara. It was so frustrating. So anyways, it feels like there's just been a lot of that shit in my life.
Yep.
In my last few casino trips. But like, once it was done, it actually, like, neither of those things really took like that much time. So I wasn't all that frustrated about it. When you're in the thick of it, it's very frustrating, but whatever.
Yeah, for me, I know I printed mine out. I'm like, all right, I'll go pick it up now or whatever, but you could print it out earlier, and pickup didn't start till 4,
right?
And we wanted to go to Cardinal, so I ended up putting the ticket back in my room.
Yeah, I have to say, great gift, by the way. Like, came with a little glass full 750 milliliter bottle of Woodford Reserve.
You have 1.5 liters of Woodford Reserve now, right?
I do. Well, I probably have like 1.3 liters because I've drank a little bit of it, but yeah. So we went to Cardinal after this check-in debacle finally got handled.
Yep, I ended up walking up there. You and Paul took an Uber. I have to say, the weather was. At that point, it was drizzling a bit, but it was windy and not all that pleasant out on the boardwalk.
Yeah. Although you got there right when we got there.
Yeah.
So you were hustling.
Yeah, I think you guys had to go to the room for something, or you weren't fully ready to go when I was.
Very cheap Uber ride, so that's good.
So, Cardinal. So the happy hour is in the bar only. We got seated kind of off to the side.
Yeah, they had to push some chairs together and some tiny tables.
Kind of like at P-Bar, we were, in the lounge area, not the bar area.
Yeah, the bar was pretty much totally full. There was one open seat, but we had 3 of us. Somebody moved and there were 2 open seats, but
there was
that didn't
2 open seats
help
together, but it didn't help that much. Yeah.
The servers were very helpful in pushing some chairs around and some little tables and giving us a spot. Ordered, again, some raw oysters, some fried oysters.
Yep.
Just a bunch of different appetizers, like potato croquette.
Yep.
Trying to think what else we got. We got a lot.
We got a bunch of stuff.
I thought all of it was very good.
I thought all of it was good.
Really?
Yeah.
I was a fan. I was a huge fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If Doc's is like very good or superb, Cardinal was good. I think for the price, it was very good. I think if it weren't happy hour prices, I would say it was, only good.
Oh, interesting.
The area is very nice, I have to say. And you got food on par with what you would expect sitting in an area like we were sitting in, which is like a nice space. The value was very, very good, though, for happy hour.
Oh, yeah. I left thinking it was the best deal in AC.
Mm-hmm.
With the discounted appetizers, the $10 cocktails. You got a beer, right?
Yep. $5 for a beer, I think. 5 or 6.
Paul and I each got a cocktail. You got a beer. We got a few waves of appetizers. And when the bill came out, I just couldn't believe it. It was like $75 for everything. Yeah, I left thinking like, I have to go back. I rate it very, very highly. So it's interesting to me that you are not as high on your Cardinal experience.
It's not like totally my type of food. And so the oysters were fine. They were a bit small. The oysters at Doc's were 100 times better, I thought.
They were 2.5 times more expensive at Doc's.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and they were also at least 2.5 times bigger as well. Never mind taste.
I feel like I need to do Doherty's again because Doherty's also has oysters on happy hour and like a similar happy hour special. So, but I'm not like in a huge rush to go to Cardinal not for happy hour, but I thought for happy hour was really awesome. And like I liked the space and everything. So I really liked the sort of happy hour tour that we did. I feel like we got really good value.
No.
So yeah, I really recommend seeking out the different happy hours in AC because I feel like there's really good deals to be had between Doherty's, Cardinal.
Yep.
Knife and Fork.
Even Knife and Fork, if that's what you're in the market for.
Yeah, I mean, there's happy hour at quite a few of the bars. There's happy hour at Super Frico.
Mm-hmm. After that, we walked down to Wild Wild West. You and Paul ended up going to Horse Dive Bar. I did not. I sat at the tiles table for 2 or 3 hours at Caesars.
Yeah. So I have lots to report about Super Frico / Horse Dive Bar / The Hook. If you're a cocktail person, especially. So our plan was to go grab a cocktail at the Horse Dive Bar because the last time I went, had a nice cocktail menu. And then to maybe go into Super Frico and get a cocktail there because they have a different cocktail menu. So when we got to Horse Dive Bar, we were 2 of maybe 4 people there. And we sat down in the corner booth with all the stuffed animals all over the place. It was kind of a cool spot. And then we asked the bartender, like, hey, do you have the cocktail menu? And she says, we don't have a cocktail menu. And we were very taken aback by that. The bartender was like, yeah, they took it away from me. I'm not allowed to have it. So she was like, I can make you anything though. Like, I've got all these ingredients. And we were like, well, we sort of wanted the mixologist recommended cocktails. Actually decided to just skip that and go into Super Frico and sat at the bar at Super Frico, which did have a cocktail menu. I got not an espresso martini, but it was like a cold brew martini called the High Wire. It was fantastic. Absolutely excellent. Highly recommended. I can't remember what the drink that Paul got was, but he also liked it a lot. And then we got a second round after that, which was also very good. We got a beef tartare, which I didn't like, but I don't like beef tartare, so that's not surprising.
Mm-hmm.
It was like $24 also. And then got the chili pepperoni pizza, which was very good, but probably quite overpriced at $21. And I think it's significantly cheaper at happy hour, so I'd recommend going for happy hour. So that check ended up being like $150. for 2 appetizers and 4 drinks. So twice as much as the 3 of us eating at Cardinal, getting
right.
way more food.
I mean, at Doc's, it was only like 200 and a little bit, right? So, and that's for 3 of us.
Well, is that after the gift card, though?
No, that was before the gift card.
Okay. Yeah, Super Frico's not a cheap place to eat and drink, for sure. I mean, the drinks were a massive portion of that amount, because the drinks were like $18 each. But it was a nice place to sit. We talked to the bartender for a bit. I think it's just such a cool vibe, and I like really... It was like the most Vegas thing I think that you can do in Atlantic City is going to the Hook or sitting at Super Frico. So I was really happy that I did that. And again, it was just like sitting around, enjoying myself, enjoying some cocktails, not gambling, which is kind of nice. I don't know what it says about me that my favorite parts of any casino trip are the non-gambling parts.
I mean, you could have been with me losing a ton of money at Tiles at Caesars.
That's true. We'll talk about that.
Tiles was not kind this trip.
So the other thing we learned, we were talking to somebody else who was behind the bar who was saying, like, you know, when the bar gets crowded at Horse Dive before shows and everybody's ordering cocktails, like, you just can't turn it out fast enough. If you think about it, Horse Dive has a huge rush, probably 15 or 20 minutes before the show starts, right? And so if everybody's ordering off of a cocktail menu, everybody's getting slower service. So it kind of makes sense in that way. But he also said that they've gotten rid of the cocktail menu in the theater itself, which sucks because, as I said, the best cocktail I've had in Atlantic City was in the theater at the Hook. I think this new Highwire coffee martini thing was actually better, but...
I thought Paul's cocktail at Doc's, the like smoky mezcal one, was very, very good.
Yeah, that was really good too. But he said that they've gone to just like bottled cocktails. 2 of their like most popular cocktails, they pre-bottle, I guess, and you can order a huge bottle. And one of the bottles I think is like $40-something, and then there's a bigger bottle cocktail that's like over $90. And it's like, well, that's great if you're in a group of 4, but like, what if it's just me at the Hook? Like, I'm not buying a $90 thing of cocktails.
Maybe you should.
Yeah, I think it's just to speed up the service and crank out more drinks, but it is disappointing because the cocktail lists at all those places were very good, and now it's just Super Frico, so... That's sort of what the bartender was saying at Super Frico, which is like, you know, I'm here and people are eating dinner and you're just sitting here at the bar. I can make plenty of cocktails, but like the other bars, they're on volume. So that's the changes there.
Yep. So you guys came in and chatted with me a bit in the Tiles.
Asian room. Yeah, the Caesars Tiles.
You were ready to move on with your night at that point after spending a couple hours, I guess, in Super Frico or whatever. And I was at the Tiles table. So... You ended up leaving. I think I left a couple minutes after you. You let me know that you were at the beer garden, even though the weather was absolutely horrible outside.
Yeah, it was raining. We walked down the boardwalk, but, you know, we had a couple drinks in us, so we were feeling fine. And then we saw that beer garden was open, very surprisingly, but only the bar, which has an overhang, so you're covered, and it had heaters on. So we're like, let's go, let's do it. Sat down, ordered some delicious beers. Still love the beer list. It's like the perfect beer garden beer list.
It is amazing.
A bunch of like German Pilsners and Marsens and stuff like that.
Yep. I showed up a couple minutes later. Also had a half liter of beer.
Yeah. Even though the weather was bad, it was still a nice beer garden experience. Like, I think beer garden's just a great place.
The weather was better at beer garden than it was in the Phillies game on TV. I'll say.
Oh, yes, that's true. It looked really bad in the game on TV. So we ended up talking to the bartender for a bit, talking to another guy there. I don't know if he's like a part owner or what.
Yeah, it seems like I think he's somehow in management there.
The big thing I wish that we had gotten this trip was like nicer boardwalk weather.
Yeah.
But we still managed to do beer garden, and I still really liked it. Beer garden's just one of my favorite places in AC.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And then we finally made it over to Trop, got our whiskey rewards.
Got our whiskey. I mean, when I went down, at least I was the only person within eyesight, so it was quite quick to get my whiskey.
Yeah, same.
Delivered it up to you. I kept the glass for myself, and you got my bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I don't really drink bourbon, so.
I drink a lot of bourbon.
I'm a Scotch guy. Don't like, bourbon, rum, tequila. It's all too sweet.
Ah, interesting.
I like vodka, Scotch, gin, that sort of drink. Much more.
Yeah, I was expecting them to just hand you a bottle, but it was a bottle in a nice little gift set.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we called it the Father's Day gift set.
Yes.
Mine is actually unopened. It's like sitting there to be displayed.
Oh, you should just open the bottle I gave you?
Yeah. Some point I'll actually use the glass.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't think I washed mine because I packed it in my dirty clothes to try to get it home in one piece. So I washed it, but I haven't used it yet.
Yeah. Best casino gift I've ever gotten by far.
It was a good one.
You just got the glass, but...
no, it was good. I mean, certainly if it was a bottle of Scotch or whatever, I'd be all about it.
Yeah. So then we played at Trop for a little bit, right?
According to my thing, I played some Jacks Are Better at Trop and did pretty badly. This must have been upstairs in the area of despair where we could not get drinks delivered, as I recall, across from Tango's.
Yeah, where it's like, oddly bright, and the
Yes.
sound system's messed up.
And Tango's is so loud.
Tango's is insanely loud, and the sound system, last time I was there, I felt like the sound system was like competing with Tango's, like it was like adjusting.
Yeah.
This time, like you could recognize the song. I don't know if one of the speakers was blown out or if it was just like the bass was incredibly down or something, but entire parts of songs would be just missing. I was like, this is very disorienting, this experience. It's like really bright in there.
It was bad.
But it's good video poker.
Me and Craig both ordered drinks, and we sat there for an hour while it said it was coming or whatever, and then eventually it just said, like, it was delivered, but it was not delivered, so...
We were not there for an hour.
I don't know.
But
half
yeah,
an
it was
hour or
probably like
something.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then eventually, yeah, it just said it was delivered. And then later that night at Tropicana, I was playing slots and went to order on a machine, and it was like the boss system is out of service. There was like, I don't know, probably an hour where it just seemed like all drink service at the machines was not working, or at least in the one section of the casino where the Wonder Woman machines were. It came back later at like, 12:30 in the morning. But yeah, that was kind of frustrating.
So anyway, we bided our time, and then we ended up at 10 o'clock on the nose. When late night happy hour started, we went to Osu and had some late night happy hour.
Yeah, which you got to get there right at 10 because they close
Because
the doors at
it
like
closes at
10:20.
11. No, the doors are definitely shut at like 10:40. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty small window to get in there for the late night happy hour.
Yeah, but ordered a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
A few sushi rolls, some skewers.
Yep. Some other random stuff. Ended up getting more sushi rolls after a while.
Yeah. Again, good value. I got a Lucky Buddha beer, which kind of like was, it's not a very good beer, but it's perfect if you're just eating a bunch of sushi and stuff. You got a sake.
Bad beer, amazing bottle. That's what
Incredible bottle.
we decided about Lucky Buddha. Yeah, I had the whatever. They always have a different sake on special for $6. I ended up getting that. Paul got some sort of mixed drink that I think he was underwhelmed with, which seems right because it's Osu.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I'll go with good. Good value. It's not as good of a value as Cardinal, I think, but
Yeah.
I think we had a better experience last time because we didn't go during happy hour, so we didn't feel chained to the happy hour menu and could get a wider variety of stuff, and especially like better yakitori stuff.
The chicken skewer was just like the plainest chicken ever.
The chicken skewer was, yeah, like, this is chicken breast and it's been grilled. Like,
The pork belly was very good, but you can't really mess up pork belly, I feel like.
but yeah, pork belly was great. I thought the sushi rolls were very good.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away by the sushi rolls. They were fine.
My sake was sake.
I think the regular menu is probably better than the happy hour menu.
It's cheap.
It was cheap, and I appreciated the happy hour at Cardinal at whatever, 4:30.
You guys ate more food at Super Frico. I did not.
We did a sort of Chuck buffet.
Uh-huh.
If you've listened to Vegas Tripping many, many years ago, the Chuck buffet was just sort of like wandering down the Vegas Strip and popping into a restaurant in a casino and eating at the bar, getting an appetizer, going to the next place, going to the next place. So it felt like we sort of did that. I thought that was a cool way to do it. And rather than having some big dinner that night, I really liked that.
I think it was perfect too. I really enjoyed being able to go to different places, even if I did not go to Super Frico.
Right. So one big benefit of doing it that way is like, I always talk about like, oh, I've got limited meals in Atlantic City, but I basically ate dinner 3 times. So that's like 3 restaurants that I went to 2 more restaurants than I normally would have gone to. So that was cool.
Yeah. So I guess once that finished, I think the last thing I did that night is, I told Paul that he had to pick some crappy slot. I would play it with him for a bit. So he picked Goldfish Feeding Time.
Oh, yeah.
Which I ended up winning a bunch of money at. So good job, Paul.
I did not win a bunch of money while you guys were doing that. I didn't do well. One thing I have to say, at Tropicana, just looking at my notes now, my only winning session was the very last session of video poker before we walked out the door.
Yeah.
And yet, that was enough for as I walked out the door to be like, slots and video poker are the best. I can't wait to come back and play some more slots and video poker. And I'm like looking at my thing and just seeing like the negatives stack up. And it's like plus $40 on video poker. Good enough for me. I think I hit a couple of 4 of a kinds pretty quickly before we walked out the door. I mean, the like last hit on your way out the door, like leaving with just like even a tiny plus sign is like, yeah. It's funny that psychology still works, but
Got to do it. So anyway, I think I went to bed at that point. It was like midnight or something. I think Paul also went to bed very shortly after that, right?
yes, he did. So I ended up playing some old school Wonder Woman at Tropicana. Again, very mean to me. Wonder Woman was so mean to me this trip. most of my losses, I think, on Wonder Woman. And then I ended up going down to the marketplace and playing video poker. So I couldn't get a drink at Wonder Woman. I went down to the marketplace area and playing video poker down there. And it was, again, like the boss system's not working. But every half an hour, a waitress would come around and she would be like, do you want a Coors Light? Do you want whatever? And I was like, no, I ordered this other drink. And she was like, well, I've got this here now. I'm like, what? This is so weird. She's like, do you want a margarita? Do you want a Coors Light? And so the first time I was like, I guess I'll take that Coors Light. But like, what? Why do you have this? I'm so confused. I think it was just like...
Probably someone ordered it and wasn't there.
Yeah, it was gone, yeah. So that's my assumption.
You're a man who's been known to drink some Coors Light. But it probably wasn't the coldest Coors Light ever.
No, it was not. And then the second time she came around, she had a margarita. She's like, do you want margarita? I'm like, fine. And I was actually I was thinking about going into the casa down there and grabbing a margarita to go. Yeah, but the bar was absolutely packed and it was so loud. I was like, I can't even go in there.
At this point, it was literally Cinco de Mayo, though. It must be
true. That's correct. Yes. So I was like, yeah, I'll take a margarita. And of course, it was all watered down from the ice having been in it for forever. But just a weird setup with the drink system broken. And then at some point at like 1 a.m, it came back online. And of course, I ordered another drink like an idiot. But ended up going back up to Wonder Woman at that point and then playing more Wonder Woman and losing and going to bed. I don't think it was 2 a.m. I think it was like 1:30, but it was again very, very late. Maybe it was 1:45. Right. Let's split the difference. So not doing what I said at all. And then, like I said, slept straight through until 9 o'clock. So I got a solid 7 hours of sleep. Which, I don't get that at home. So
yeah. So I was up the next morning. I was in my room. Paul ended up texting me, I think at some point, like, hey, do you want to get breakfast? Craig's sleeping, but like I want to get out of here soon because he was very nervous about the situation leaving the Trop Garage.
Oh, yeah.
He was ready to move on from Tropicana. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll meet you down there and we can go to Gilchrist. But I guess you woke up right in the nick of time or something. I don't know what exactly the situation was.
Yeah, he was like sitting on the bed with his jacket on, I think, texting you. And then I woke up and he was like, breakfast. And I was like, okay. And I like literally just threw on my clothes and shoes. And I think the same clothes as I was wearing the day before. And went down to Gilchrist.
Yeah. That's what I always do for breakfast. You don't shower until after breakfast. That's just foolish to do things in any other order.
So yeah, we went to Gilchrist.
Yeah, we had to wait a little bit. We
did.
Right when we got there, we were like, second in line. And by the time we got our table, there was like literally 40 people waiting for a table or something.
But as I've said, they turn over the entire restaurant every 30 minutes. So you're never going to have to wait that long. I mean, I think we were sitting for less than 25 minutes. That's how fast the food comes out. They've reupholstered all the booths in there. I remember last time they had some booths duct taped together and they fixed that. It felt a little nicer in there, which is good. We got pancakes. You got blueberry pancakes, right?
Always.
Oh, I didn't know you always get blueberry pancakes.
Always, absolutely always.
I like the regular.
Amazing as always.
Yeah, the pancakes are so good.
They're so good,
so good.
Hungry Man number 2. It's like the perfect meal.
It is. I also got the Hungry Man number 2 with different options than you did, but just excellent.
Get grits and bacon, I think, is the best way to go at Gilchrist.
I did bacon and home fries.
The
home fries are good.
I think they're mediocre there. Grits are better.
I like them. I don't love grits, so. The prices have gone up.
I know it was like $13 or $14 for Hungry Man number 2 and not like 11 like we deserve, but what can you do?
Still totally reasonable, but
yeah.
Not the absolute steal that it was before.
They take comps, so it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Yeah, I mean, good thing for me is I ended up paying for the Osu and the Gilchrist with my comps, so.
Nice.
Was happy to be able to use some of my endless comps.
Then after that, I think Paul left pretty quickly.
Paul left right away after that. I had to meet him to give him his charger back because I forgot my charger, so he graciously lent me one. Then me and you met. We may have showered before, but met and just played a little bit of Jacks Are Better down in the marketplace before leaving.
Yeah, and that's where I won $40.
Yeah, I won $20.
And left feeling great about my trip.
Cashed in 100, cashed out 120. What more can you ask for?
And then headed out. So Paul left at probably 10 and had no issue getting out of the garage. You were not parked in the garage. You were still in the Noise Arts garage.
I was in the Noise Arts garage. Before I left Caesars, I just moved it from a charger up to the second floor. But yeah, couldn't have been easier. At that point, like I said, it was going to be like $3 extra for me to just leave it there overnight. Given that you guys said Friday when you arrived, it looked like literally 2 hours to get out of the garage. I was like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah. Somebody in one of the Facebook groups said it was 2 hours, and everybody was like, there's no way it was 2 hours. And it's like, I saw it, and I totally believe that it was 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, it was backed up all the way up past the fourth floor where I parked, and nobody was moving. Like, not even an inch. It was crazy. It was not as bad on Saturday at checkout. It did still take me 25 minutes to get out of the garage.
Right.
But not 2 hours.
I mean, so when I texted you at Formica Brothers, which, spoiler, I meant Formica Brothers, were you out of the garage and on the road yet, or?
No, I was still in the garage, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had walked all the way up to the expressway, basically, and you were still sitting in the garage?
Yeah. It's Formica Brothers.
Formica Brothers.
As we've been told.
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't get my pastry at Formica
Anytime
Brothers.
you can give some money to Norcross, you have to do it. So.
Yes, it's true.
It was very good, I have to say. My pastry was excellent.
So then we left and drove home.
Yeah, it's just a great place to stop on the way out of the city.
Yeah, that's true. I was kind of in a rush at that point because it took so long to get out of the garage. But, one thing I forgot to mention, we watched the Kentucky Derby. Paul and I watched the Kentucky Derby at the big Wild Wild West sports book.
Uh-huh.
And that was cool. It was a cool thing to see the Derby and everybody excited and very close finish. And then go get my Woodford Reserve, which was the gift because of the Derby.
Yeah, and, they had the big plastic horse or whatever in the Tropicana main area.
Oh, they did. Big Woodford horse in the Tropicana. Loved it. Took a picture of that.
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered to watch any of that crap, though. I was at the tiles table, so.
You had gambling to do.
What can you do? Anything else about the trip that we need to mention? I thought it was a great trip. I thought it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun.
Didn't do that bad in gambling. Honestly, I was down maybe like $500, which, as far as I'm concerned, is like a good trip, I think. So
yeah. It's a very bad trip for me, but yeah, I mean, I did not snap my losing streak, but I think I was playing games where I was like, I'm getting this much value out of the game. Like, this is a fun game, so I'm just going to keep playing it. Mm-hmm. I got home and I was definitely like, I'm ready to go back already. Like, I just loved all the stuff we did. I have a couple of questions.
Okay. Let's do them quickly, because this is a long episode.
Yeah. Paul asked, would you do the same Borgata to Boardwalk split again? I guess a question for both of us, considering the time that check-in took up when we could have been doing other things. I mean, obviously my check-in
I think it's
longer.
a question more for you, because you had a worse experience and are maybe more sensitive to the idea of staying in the West Tower.
Yeah, no regrets. I thought the one night in Borgata, one night on the Boardwalk was such a good split. The way we did it worked out so well. Do you wish you had more Borgata time?
No, I think it was perfect. I think one night in Borgata and one night on the Boardwalk is, for a 2-night trip, like the right amount of time.
Yeah.
For both, especially given that we ate dinner back in the city on our Borgata night.
And Borgata's just so nice. It's just such a nice place to gamble.
It's very pleasant.
Sitting at the sportsbook bar was awesome. Even just like sitting on the casino playing machines. I wish I had played some tiles, but tiles was $40 on Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Could have played Saturday morning with me.
I could have, and we'll talk about that in just a second, even though this is a long episode already.
I have to say, like, a good thing for the trip for me is, like, having Paul there was great, because, one, he wanted to play craps with me in a way that you obviously did not.
Yeah.
Two, I know he was mentioning all the time, like, I need to relearn tiles, because he said he used to love tiles, so especially if he'll play tiles with me also, that'll be a big pro in the poll book for me.
So do you feel like, though, that there was too much non-gambling stuff, or do you think that mix was fine?
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was good.
Perfect. I agree. I loved all the non-gambling stuff.
You know, you guys spent 2 or 2.5 hours away from me between the sports book and the Super Freako when I was gambling, but I was fine with that.
You didn't think like, oh, we've ditched you to go to Super Freako?
No.
And okay. Yeah, I was a little worried about that, but
I can't believe that you ditched me and didn't come sit at this tiles table with me.
I think I spent less hours gambling than I've spent recently. Like, certainly percentage of time in Atlantic City doing non-gambling stuff was much, much higher, which I thought was awesome. I really loved it. And like, that's all the stuff that I want to do again. I want to go back and go to Beer Garden when it's nice out.
Yeah.
I want to go back and go to more happy hours. I'm like so invested now in finding other happy hours.
I know you said you need to go to Cardinal again, right?
Yeah.
Must do.
So my last little thought of the trip, because every trip I come home and I'm just breaking down, you know, what I could have done better and differently. And I don't have much, but between sitting next to Paul at the video poker bar at the sports book and sitting next to you at the video poker machine in the marketplace right before leaving was like the thing that I'm actually missing by not playing table games is just the like sitting around with you, joking around.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, like that stuff. And I haven't had much of that in a long time because I'm just like bopping around to stupid machines, or like we end up at a video poker bank where it's like a circle and we're not even like sitting next to each other and joking about our stupid hands.
Like in the area of despair next to tangos.
Yeah, exactly. And so I am pledging to set aside not much money, but $100 of my gambling budget.
You've said this for like 10 trips in a row.
No, I'm doing it. And here's why. One, to play tiles, hopefully $20 tiles.
Okay.
And you know what? If it lasts 15 minutes and it's done, whatever, that's fine. But I feel like that is something that's missing from my trip, not just because of the table game part, but because I want to play table games with the other people who are there on the trip. And my hope is, okay, so I've got this sort of $100 budget, and if, you know, I leave with money from that, I'll feel more free to play more table games. Whereas now I feel like there's sort of this weird, my gambling budget is just all in one place. The idea of playing table games is just like, well, that's taking so much percentage of my gambling budget away from other stuff that I want to do. And it's like, no. Set aside a very set amount. And if I don't play table games, it's just $100 untouched. So that's the plan. We'll see if it actually works out.
You could just have a healthier relationship with
loss.
Gambling. Yeah, something. Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, for me, it's like every time I sit down at a slot machine, I lose money, and that's the only thing that happens. And like table games, I feel like you can win money at.
I've had some wins in slots and video poker, just not recently.
Only goldfish feeding time is kind of big.
The other thing that I run into is like, I'll see a $15 crap, I mean, probably not craps, but a $20 tiles table. You'll be at a $20 tiles table. And I'll still be like, do I really want to buy in for $200 right now?
Yeah.
Like, not really.
The answer is always no.
Right. So this will hopefully make me be like, okay, who cares if it's the first thing I do in the trip or if it's at the very end of the trip and I'm already down. Like, now I have this plan. And it's like, okay, this is the plan. It's going to work. I promise. I'm actually going to do what I say.
All right. I've heard it before.
But not wake up early.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for listening. If you want to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, you can do so at our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/DoForAWin. Find all of our great content, including Craig's thoughts about pool tab slots at DoForAWin.com. Reach out to Craig on Twitter at DoForWin or me at Kyle Askin, and send Craig questions at DoForWin@gmail.com, and we will answer them on air. We have some questions, but we'll answer them next time, I think.
Yeah, this episode went too long for questions.
Very long.
Yeah.
This is like a 2016 episode.
It'll get edited down to less than that. But last words very quickly. This is the third episode in a row that Paul's like spidey sense is tingling that we're talking about AC. Because the last two episodes he's messaged me.
Did he just message you?
He did just message me with the question, so when's your next AC trip?
Yeah, man. Come on, Paul's in. He's all in for it. I love it.
I don't know if he said your next AC trip.
No. Say. He's in.
I think summer weekday.
Okay.
Midweek overnight.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
The first week of summer break, I'm in Outer Banks, but then I'm pretty much free after that. So
I'm very interested to see where my MGM offers go because Paul played on my card, and
you guys got a lot of points.
Racked up quite a few tier credits.
Yeah, you did definitely way more than me at Borg.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
So we'll see what happens. But so far, no changes.
Yep, we'll find out. All right. Thank you guys very much for listening, and we'll get back to a more normal episode, I guess, next time. But I hope you guys have a nice couple weeks.
I've been back on my bullshit with the Matt Bridger vlogs.
You just can't get enough of it.
The problem with watching them, two problems. One, even though in my brain I'm like, I'm fine not going to Vegas again for a while. Especially like after the last AC trip, I sort of felt like, what am I getting in Vegas that I'm not getting in AC? Like not much, right? They have good slots, like Borgata's super nice.
There's good food for like half the price.
Right. Like, am I really going to enjoy Aria's casino floor 10 hours of flight and hundreds of dollars more than Borgata? No.
I think Borgata has the better casino floor, period. So,
but still, like when you watch vlogs that are in Vegas, you're like, I need to be in Vegas. Like I need to go.
Yeah.
The other problem is he's playing, $5 and $10 press slots.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very easy to be like, I would be getting all these $300 and $500 and $700 bonuses if I just played $10 hand slots.
It's probably true. You would definitely get more of them. I will say that.